Okay, so for this last video, we're going to get some more practice with domain and range. For all of those with the compound inequalities. So looking at this one, this first one, for domain, I'm looking to see how far left to how far right it goes. So for how far left, I see it's at -5. And for how far right, I see that that's at 7. But now I need to see whether I have any closed circles and open circles. I see at -5, this one's closed, so I need a line underneath that inequality. At the 7, it's open, so I can leave that as just a strict inequality there. Okay, and then for a range, I'm looking to see how low the graph goes to how high it goes. So I see the lowest point is at -3, and the highest point is at 2. And then again, at my -3, this is a closed circle, so I need a line underneath the inequality next to 3. Okay, now let's look at this next one. This one's a little bit different, and what makes it different is that there's now an arrow at the end of this one. So the arrow means it is continuing forever down that direction. And so, again, looking to see for domain, the farthest left it goes is at -4. However, the farthest right it goes, I don't know, because it continues forever in that direction. So x is just always going to be greater than or equal to -4. So again, the reason I got that is I know that that x is always bigger than -4 because it never goes to the left of it. I can't do the other bound to my inequality because there's an arrow right here. So you can kind of think of this as what we did in chapter 2 as being -4, and then I had the arrow to the right. But now we're just placing that on a coordinate plane or graph. And so then for the range, I see the highest up it goes is at 1, and it never gets greater than 1. It's always less than or equal to 1. Okay, now let's look at number 3s. And this time I have arrows on both sides of this line. I have it that this line is continuing forever to the left and it's continuing forever to the right. So for domain, since I want to know all my x values, well, since it continues forever in each direction, it's actually just going to be all real numbers. So whenever that happens, we say it's all real numbers. And sometimes we do this symbol right here, which is 2 lines and an R. And then for range, again, it's going forever down and forever up. So it's going to hit all y values, so it's going to, again, be all real numbers. Okay, this next one's a little bit different. I see I have a curve here. So for my domain, again, I'm looking to see how far left and how far right it goes. So for how far left, I see that's at -5. I have a closed circle, so it's going to be less than or equal to. And then for how far right it goes, I see that's at 6, and it's a closed circle, so it's going to be less than or equal to 6. And then now here's where it gets a little bit different. So for range, it's really tempting to just take these same numbers and say, okay, it's -5 or -4 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to +4. However, where this endpoint is not the lowest point in the graph. So you want to remember for range and for domain, But for range, you want to go where the lowest point of the graph is to the highest point of the graph. So the lowest point is actually going to be here, so it's not at that end point. And so that's actually going to be at -7. And the highest point is really up here. So again, not at the end point, and that's going to be at 5. So for these tricky ones, just remember, you're looking for the lowest point to the highest point. So it's not always going to be the end point like it was for this one. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this next one. It's a little bit tricky. So for this last one, for the domain, for how far left it goes, it was at -10. For how far right it goes, that was at +10. The -10 had an open circle, so I had a strictly less than here. Now the range was a little bit different. I see I have a straight horizontal line. So the lowest it goes is at 7, and the highest it goes is at 7. So since y never changes value, it's only equal to 7, my range here is just going to be y is equal to 7.